Hello family, welcome back to another YouTube video. If it's your first time here, welcome. My name is Lucy Brown. I surely do hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you do indeed, please do make sure that you consider becoming part of this family by hitting the subscribe button down below. Before you continue to watch the video, please do make sure that you give the video a massive thumbs up. Remember, liking the video just basically helps YouTube to recommend this video to a larger audience. Now, as you've seen from the title of the video, today we are talking about embarrassing things that shouldn't actually be embarrassing. At times I think to myself, there are things that I do, things that I say that I kind of do feel embarrassed about, but I'm like, in hindsight, I'm just like, but why am I feeling embarrassed about them? Or things that I used to do that, I'm thinking to myself, like, why am I even feeling embarrassed about these things? And I know definitely that I'm not the only one who goes through those emotions. So let's get right into the video. Point number 1, asking for help. I think I've gotten significantly better at asking for help. I used to have a huge problem with asking for help. I used to just find it so embarrassing in a sense. Not only embarrassing, I also just felt like, I don't want to bother people or come off as if like I'm just like I'm weak. Yeah, I always used to associate like asking for help with being weak. And even at this big age of mine, I still do struggle to actually ask for help. And it comes from a place of just not wanting to burden people, just not wanting to worry people. But for the most part of my life, I just remember like just being embarrassed to ask for help. Even if I was like in a mall and I was getting lost and there were securities there, I was just like, you know what, I'd rather get lost for hours like pacing up and down the same place than just going to the security guard and just asking like, can I get help? Where can I find A, B, and C? Or even in a grocery store and asking just for someone to actually help you to find what you're looking for. Seeking assistance is not a sign of weakness, but rather it is a sign of strength in a sense. Recognizing that you need help is actually a sign of self-awareness. Self-awareness because you notice or that you acknowledge that you are not all-knowing, that you don't always have everything figured out, that you too also has limitations like any other human being. And I personally think that asking for help is actually a crucial step of personal growth. Point number 2, talking about mental health. There's just something about open conversation that reduces stigma around a topic. And I think as well that when it comes to mental health, when we are willing to have open conversations about mental health, it does reduce the stigma around it. And so for a long time, and I do think we are getting better at this, for a long time speaking up or coming up and saying that I'm struggling with mental health was viewed as sort of an embarrassing thing. It was like, oh my gosh, like it was always associated with you maybe not being you maybe being crazy or something like that. It was just an embarrassing thing to speak about. And especially in our Christian community, it is almost like a taboo to be associated with Christianity and mental health. It's almost as if when you're a Christian and you're going through mental health, it's almost viewed as in you're not praying enough, you're not studying the Bible enough, or you're not immersing yourself in the things of the Spirit enough. And I just don't think that that's always true for each and every case. So having open dialogues and open conversations around mental health should not actually be an embarrassing thing, because I actually think that once we have open conversations, it actually challenges the stereotypes and the misconceptions around mental health. When people share about their experiences, I think that it just humanizes the experience. Just the way some people say that, when their favorite influencer, speaks about a product, they want to go get it. And I think it's that sort of similar sort of effect, or on YouTube when you speak about stuff that is personal to you, people then are more drawn to you because people can relate to you. And so talking about mental health just normalizes the idea that everyone goes through issues. I then think that then reduces the fear and the sort of shame that's associated with speaking about mental health or coming out and speaking about your personal journey with mental health. I just don't think, or I actually think that this is one of the things that some people to today still find embarrassing, but it shouldn't actually be embarrassing. Point number 3, admitting ignorance. Someone once said that we're not politicians, right? We are allowed to make our minds. And I laughed at that because it did kind of sound funny. Because with politicians, once they associated with one party, they are willing to die for that party, like regardless of the bad things or the negative things that they may know about the party, they will still stand in front of millions of people and still speak good things about that and advocate basically for that party. So someone said, we are not politicians, we are allowed to change our minds. And I think that's so true. One day you might be standing for something, advocating for something, and believe in it wholeheartedly. And then someone else may come and show you a different view and be like, but maybe you want to review your stance on this type of topic or this type of doctrine or whatever it may be. And they kind of sort of challenge your thinking. And then you change your stance on where you previously stand concerning that, whatever it was. Or you finally come to a place that, you know what, I actually stood with that thing out of ignorance or out of a lack of knowledge. And coming to that place shouldn't be embarrassing, right? Or coming to admit that, you know what, I was ignorant based on A, B, and C, and you know what, I was wrong on A, B, and C, and now I've come to the light, or now I have a better understanding of where people are coming from pertaining whatever subject. And I just don't think as human beings we know everything, and I think it's okay to actually admit that, you know what, I spoke out of ignorance. Admitting your lack of knowledge on a certain topic can lead to a better understanding and a better learning. And I think taking this approach is so important on all areas of our lives, right? I'm a type of person that when I believe in something, like you can tell the way I speak, I'm very vigorous, I am passionate about stuff. So when I am convinced on something, like I am willing to stand for it, to argue for it, to, I'm willing to go all the way home just to, stand for what I believe in. But over the years, I've learned to sort of give room for error. Because as a human being, each and every one of us has blind spots, right? So I can't be wrong on certain things. I can't be wrong on my stance when it comes to certain topics, whether it be about women, men, or anything in general. And I found that once I put myself in a headspace of just knowing that there's area and there's possibility for me to err, that it just becomes much more easier for me to come back and say, you know what, guys, I once believed in A, B, and C, but now I no longer believe in what I previously believed in. And that's because I know that I'm not all-knowing. So just acknowledging and being able to see that you are lacking in knowledge when it comes to a certain topic, I think it truly does speak about a person's humility. And humility then fosters an open and a receptive type of mindset. Point number 4, receiving a compliment. Guys, I don't know. I know it's not true for everyone, and hence today I'm sharing the ones that are most, that I resonate with the most. I struggle to receive compliments so much. And I didn't know that, but this one sister of mine, I think a few Sundays back, she was actually complimenting me, and I was like, I tried, thank you, and she was like, no, stop saying that, and she was actually sharing with me that she used to be like that, and for her it came from a place of lack of confidence. For me, it doesn't really come from a place of lack of confidence, but I've actually noticed that anytime someone gives me a compliment, like it's very rare, if ever, I don't ever say thank you. I'd always be like, no, I try, like want to downplay, I want to downplay the compliment. And I think the reason why I do that is because for a number of reasons. One being, I grew up in a type of environment where downplaying a compliment was viewed as humility. And so I just kind of feel, I know that it's not true, but that's just the way I feel. I just kind of feel, if I think for other people it's fine, but for me, when I just say, oh, thank you, or oh, I know, that it just comes off as if I'm being prideful. In my mind, the way I grew up, that though you know you're beautiful, though you know you're pretty, though you know you're looking good, you must just never like admit it. You must just, when someone, you know, compliments you, like just downplay it, and that's going to give off humility type of vibes. And I am getting better at it. And the second reason around it is because I don't like to be the center of attention. And I feel like when someone compliments me, you kind of like putting me in the middle. Like, it's just worse if you're just going to compliment me in a group setting. I just kind of feel like now then everyone is then pressured to then like compliment me as well. Like, you just made it awkward for everyone and for me, because now I'm the center of attention, and I don't like being the center of attention. And you know, the funny thing with my personality is that my personality is I've described myself as an extroverted introvert. If you don't know me, you'd actually think I'm an extrovert, but I'm not really an extrovert. It's just that I've developed people skills. So when I'm around people, I know how to gel very well with people. Most times, even when I'm nervous, I kind of know how to deal with my nerves so that it doesn't come off as nervous. So I know for some people, they'll be like, yo, that's a new one, you know, but you know, it's the truth. I just don't like being the center of attention, because I just feel like, I don't know, I just feel weird. I just don't want the attention to be on me. And I realize that, yeah, this is something that I truly do need to work on, but I just don't think that it's one of those things that shouldn't actually be deemed as, you know, embarrassing. I shouldn't actually be viewing, you know, someone complimenting me as embarrassing, but I just feel like. Point number 5, saying I will pray about it. You know, when someone like asks for your advice or your counsel on something, or asks you for something, and you respond by saying, can I pray about it? Or I'll pray about it. I used to view it so embarrassing up until I met my husband. Then I was like, no, I need to normalize. When I met my husband truly taught me how to normalize saying that, you know, I'll pray about something, that it's not embarrassing to be open and tell someone that, you know what, I might not be able to counsel you, or I might not be able to give you sound counsel or advice concerning this. Can I go and pray about it and come back to you? Or maybe if a person is asking something of you that requires you to make a hefty or a big decision, there's nothing wrong in saying to them, can I actually pray about it and get back to you? And for me, I guess I just was kind of like concerned that people would just be, or people would view me as, you know, this religious type of girl, this thou art, you know, thou art holy than the other type of girl. I just felt like people would be like you're just being extra, like you just can make a decision here and now, you know. And yes, there are certain decisions that, like for instance, like if someone asked, like, do you want to have grape or orange in terms of a flavor for juice, you know, I don't need to pray about that. But there's certain things that I feel I am at a better place to comment on, to advise on, to make a decision on once I am in fellowship with the Lord, or once I've been in fellowship with the Lord. And so I don't think saying to a person that, you know, I'll get back, or even for someone else, I'll get back to you, shouldn't be viewed as embarrassing. You don't really have to make a decision right there and then in order to safeguard the next person's feelings, and or in order for them not to view you or perceive you in a negative sort of light. And yeah, guys, those are my 5 points actually on embarrassing things that actually shouldn't be embarrassing. I know the list can go on and on and on. I know some people could add like stuff like finances. Sometimes some people do view speaking about finances embarrassing, but it shouldn't be embarrassing. But yeah, so you are more than welcome to actually leave a comment down below and tell me what are additional things, or what are there additional things that you think or you've experienced as embarrassing, but in hindsight you're just like, no, but that shouldn't actually be deemed, or I shouldn't actually be feeling embarrassed about that. Please do make sure that you give the video a massive thumbs up. Remember, liking the video just basically helps YouTube to recommend this video to a larger audience. If you'd like to be notified whenever I upload fresh, new, crispy content, you're more than welcome to smash the notification bell down below. If you have not subscribed by now, please do make sure that you hit the subscribe button. Remember guys, it is free and it does basically help my channel basically and motivate me to see that people are actually, subscribing and sticking around and coming back around. And yeah, that's basically it from me, guys. Share the video with someone if you think it might be helpful or impactful or enjoyable for someone else. You're more than welcome to do so. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you on the next one.